Hello, dear listeners. Here is Andre Branco, and you are on the channel Souls Like. Today I bring you a story that will mess with your emotions and make it reflect on the limits of love and family loyalty. Get ready for a narrative that will hold your attention from beginning to end. Sofia Varetenikova was always proud of her career. From the top of her office overlooking the Moskova River, she reviewed another complex contract while the metropolis lights flashed outside. 10 years earlier, he had arrived in the capital with little more than dreams and a shabby suitcase from a small town inside Krasnodar. It started from scratch, doing small legal services, until it conquered the position of senior lawyer in one of the largest companies in the country. Success had not been present, each achievement was sweaty, each step climbed with determination. The phone rang just when she organized the last details for a crucial meeting. "Hello," he answered automatically, without taking his eyes off the papers. The voice on the other end of the line was muffled, tense. "Sonia, it's me, Igor." Something in her brother's tone made her freeze. "We have a serious problem. Mom. She's dying. Doctors say it's a matter of hours. You need to say goodbye." The world seemed to stop. Sofia's heart jumped, then fired as if she wanted to get out of her chest. 1,000 questions ran over his mind as the words came out of control. What happened? When? How is she? A fulminant stroke. Since last night in the ICU. Igor's voice failed. "Come fast, sister. She may not stand until you arrive." The clock scored 3 in the afternoon. With a quick calculation, Sofia realized that if she would go at that moment, she would still take the last flight of the night. "I'll be on the first plane," he said firmly, turning off before the emotion dominated her. The next 120 minutes were a whirlwind, calls cancelling commitments, rushed bags, running time to the airport. The mind was a whirlwind of images, the maternal face, the smiles that illuminated his childhood, the wrinkles that told stories of a lifetime. Is that the last time that would see that loving look? On the plane, the restlessness did not give him a respite. He tried to ward off the dark thoughts, but his imagination insisted on painting terrible scenarios. The 2.5 hours of flight seemed eternity. He remembered how long he had not visited his family, almost a year. Always postponed, first were the deadlines at work, then the important projects, always next time. And now, perhaps, there was no more next time. The weight of guilt mingled with fear. Upon landing, Sofia wasted no time. A taxi took her at full speed for such a familiar route. The driver, an old man with kind-eyed, noticed his condition. "Something wrong, my daughter? You're pale as a sheet." "My mother is in the ICU. They say it's the end." Each word hurt how to get pieces of it. "Strength, girl," it was all the man said, accelerating even more. When they arrived at the building where he grew up, it was night. Sofia paid without looking at the change, took the bag and ran to the gate. A single question hammered in his head: why didn't Igor mention that they had taken her home? Would it be so that it could say goodbye among his own walls? The hands shaved as he typed the intercom code. He climbed the 4 stairs bids every 2 steps, without waiting for the elevator. The bell sounded shrill in the silence of the corridor. Igor opened the door. His face showed no pain or mourning, just a strange, almost guilty expression. "Sonia, you came fast," he murmured, moving away to let her in. "Where is Mom?" Sofia got running over, throwing coats and shoes along the way. "She's better. The doctors released her." Igor hesitated, avoiding his gaze. "Come to the kitchen, everyone is there." The heart was beating out while she followed by the corridor. 1,000 possibilities went through his head. Did the doctors go wrong? Did she improve miraculously? Upon entering the kitchen, however, the scenario left her paralyzed. At the table were his father, an unknown man with impeccable suit with a document folder, and his mother. Completely healthy, with no sign of disease, taking tea calmly in your favorite cup, that of blue daisies. "Mom," Sofia's voice came out like a hoarse whisper. "Are you well?" The mother blushed slightly, but recovered the quick composure. "Sofia, feel, honey. We have important subjects to address." She obeyed mechanically, feeling an explosive mixture of relief, anger, and confusion growing inside. What is happening here? He finally asked, looking alternately at his parents. Your brother said you were dying. That had a stroke. The father coughed, gesturing towards the stranger. This is Dr. Arnaldo, our notary. We have an urgent family issue to resolve. The man greeted with a professional nod, opening the folder. Miss Varetenikova, it's a pleasure. We were waiting for your arrival to finish some documents. What documents? Sophia felt the blood boil. You called me Moscow saying that my mother was dying. Why? The father answered in a sharp voice. For your damn stubbornness. Why? You never come when the family needs. Always have an excuse, work, projects, meetings. Now it was the only way. What are you talking about? She insisted, feeling the floor disappear under her feet. From his apartment in Moscow, of course, his father hit his hand on the table. The one your grandmother Tamara left for you. It's time to pass it to Igor. Sophia felt like punching her stomach. That two-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood had been its safe haven in the early years in the capital, when it still divided alien rooms and told each coin. Why should I do that? He asked, the shaking voice of containment. Because he needs more than you, the mother interfered, with a tone that she wanted to be rational. Igor has family, 2 children, and is squeezed in a bedroom and living room. You're alone, you may well keep renting. Sophia turned to her brother, leaning against the door with a guilty air, unable to face her. So that's why they made me go through this hell? Did you make me cancel everything, fly 1,000 kilometers thinking you would lose my mother, just because of an apartment? The father crashed his hand on the table tightly. And how could we do it more? You never appear when we call it. Always have an excuse. Now it's different, it's a family issue. Subscribe to these papers and won't regret it. The notary, clearly bothered, pushed the documents toward her. The donation contract is ready, miss. We only need your signature. Sophia looked at those leaves as if they were a snake about choking her. Memories flooded his mind, the arrival in Moscow with a suitcase and 3,000 rubles in his pocket, the nights in the clear working to pay for college, the emotion when receiving the diploma that parents did not even bother to see, the indescribable joy when I learned that the grandmother had left that apartment. You missed ugly, he said finally, getting up with a calm that surprised herself. What did you say? The father frowned, threatening. I say that you missed ugly, Sophia repeated, and your voice now cut the air like a blade. Do you know what you just did? Don't overdo it, the mother tried to minimize. It was just a small lie for the good of the family. Sophia felt her body tremble with a contained fury. For the good of the family? Did you make me believe that the person I love most in this world was dying? Do you know what I spent at these times? And not arrive on time? Subscribe to the papers and let's end this, the father spat the words. Or do you want more problems than you already have? Sophia released a bitter laugh. What problems, Dad? I'm a lawyer, remember? And I know very well that you have just committed a crime. Article 159 of the Penal Code Estelionato. Attempted misappropriation of alien good through fraud. The notary paled, starting to gather his rolls in a hurry. I think I better withdraw. Family issues should be resolved in particular. Stay where it is. Sophia's order was dry. She stared at her parents, then to her brother, who finally lowered her eyes. This conversation is over. And if any of you try something like this again, I swear the consequences will be much worse than you think. With a last look of disappointment, she took her bag and left, leaving behind not only a room in silence, but also the last remnants of a family that at that moment had lost forever. You are also accomplice. Sophia's voice cut the air like a blade. Prepared the documents knowing the fraud. The man paled, sinking back in his chair as if his legs had lost his strength. I didn't know. I was told it was a voluntary decision. Just. The father rose with a sudden movement, the chair gritting under his weight. You will sign these papers, whether or not. He advanced a step, his hand erected in a gesture that left no doubt about his intentions. But Sophia intercepted her wrist in the air with surgical accuracy, her fingers squeezing until he shuddered. Don't even think about it, she whispered, the tone so cold that she burned. One more movement, and fraud adds a denunciation for violence. The mother jumped out of the chair, her eyes wide. How dare you talk like this to your father? We raise you, we feed you, we dress and I'm grateful for that, Sophia interrupted, sweeping the family with a slow, deliberate look. But that does not give them the right to decide for my life or what is mine. She paused, each word weighing like a verdict. This apartment belongs to me by law. And I don't intend to give it up. It was then that Igor finally found courage to speak. Sonia, you understand, I really need you have children. I have children. You have work. I have work. You have wife. I have a career. Sophia listed with a lethal calm, her fingers marking each point in the air like knives. And where, exactly, my life becomes your property. She tilted her head, dark eyes like steel. Did you ever ask how I survived these 10 years in Moscow? How many nights did I spend clear? How many jobs did I put to support myself? What price did I pay for every step I climbed? The silence that followed was so dense that it seemed to suffocate. I take the morning flight, Sophia announced, taking the bag with a dry movement. And I hope this is the last time we have this conversation. Where are you going? The mother seemed to lose her breath, her voice shaking. You just arrived. The hotel - I won't be under the same roof as those who tried to betray me and steal, Sophia cut, already at the door. She hesitated for a moment, so she turned, her eyes burning with a mixture of disdain and something more, something she refused to name. And yes, I'll submit a complaint for fraud. A finger pointed to the notary, who retreated as if he had been slapped. Not against you. I'm still your daughter. The irony in the voice was sharp. But against him. The man swallowed hard, the words attached to his throat while Sophia came out, closing the door with a crash that echoed as an end point. 5 years later, Sophia watched from the porch of her country house while her husband, crouching in the grass, made her 3-year-old daughter exploded with a bear attack. The phone vibrated over the wooden table, breaking the peace of dusk. Hello. She answered without looking at the screen, her eyes. From prisoners to the scene before her, the golden light caressing the girl's curls, the smile of her husband so genuine that it hurt. Sonia. It's Mom. The voice on the other end of the line trembled, loaded with a guilt that time had not erased. Sophia sighed, her fingers squeezing the device harder than necessary. After that day, the ties had broken down like rotten wires. She fulfilled the threat. The notary lost her license, humiliated in public processes. Parents and brother tried to call in the early months, but she blocked the numbers, responding only with short messages in the birthdays "I'm fine" as if it was enough to close the wound. Hi, Mom. How are you, Lenotka? The question came out, as if each syllable cost a superhuman effort. Well. She's growing up. Sophia did not bother to hide her coldness. On the other side, a muffled sigh. Sonia, your father and I would like to see her. To know the granddaughter. She remained silent, watching her daughter running in circles while her husband, lying on the grass, pretended to be a sleeping monster. What, Mother? The question came out before it could break it. To order something else? No, Sonechka. The mother's voice broke. We regret so much. Your father is sick. Every day worse. He wants to see his granddaughter, reconcile with you before it's late. Something inside Sophia contracted. As much as it tried, anger could not completely eradicate love, that stubborn love, rooted in childhood memories. The father teaching her to ride a bicycle, her mother squeezing orange juice for her before school, summer travels with the tight whole family in the car. And Igor. Divorced a year ago, replied the mother, resigned. Lives with us. The children stayed with their ex-wife. Sophia released a dry laugh. Interesting. For whom you wanted my apartment in Moscow, her? Everything collapsed, Sonia. The mother looked smaller than ever. Come in 2 weeks, Sophia said finally. I send the money to the tickets. Serious? Hope in his mother's voice was almost unbearable. Yes. But with conditions. She gave no room for interruptions. No word about the past. No request. You come as guests. Nothing more. Of course, Sonechka, of course. The mother accepted with a hurry that bordered on despair. We understand everything." When he hung up, Sophia was still for a long time, her fingers still squeezing the phone. Then he got up and walked to her husband and daughter, now building a sand castle with a comic seriousness. "Who was it?" "My mom." She knelt beside them, helping the girl firm a pie tower. "They want to come." Her husband frowned, remembering the story that Sophia had told her in the early months of dating, the betrayal, the attempted theft, the years of silence. "He is sure." "Yes." Sophia nodded, her eyes fixed on her daughter, who now buried her fingers in the sand with an absolute concentration. "I think they have changed. And Lena deserves to know the grandparents." "Mom, who will come?" The girl lifted her face, the curious eyes like those of a puppy. "Your grandmother and grandfather, Solnikow." Sophia stroked her daughter's golden curls. "They want to meet you. Are they cool?" The question was serious, almost professional. Sophia hesitated, reliving in seconds the hurt memories and those that warmed. The father teaching her to play chess. The mother knitting scarves she never wore but kept to this day. The mistakes, the laughter, the stupid fights. "Yes, Malaire. They are good." She smiled, though she knew the truth was more complicated. Sometimes adults do silly things. But that doesn't mean they don't love us. 2 weeks later, Sophia waited at the station, her eyes looking for the faces she avoided. When he saw them, he felt his chest tighten. The father was unrecognizable. Thin, bent, as if the years had stolen not only health, but the height itself. The mother, though more preserved, had deep dark circles and a tremor in the hands that did not exist before. "Sonia." The father reached out, and after a second of hesitation, she allowed her to hug her. "Hi, Daddy." At home, her husband and daughter were waiting for them. To Sophia's surprise, Lena, usually shy with strangers, ran to her grandfather in less than an hour, displaying her cart collection with a pride that melted to the older ice. At night, when the girl slept and her husband discreetly withdrew, her father broke the silence. "Sonia, I know you asked not to talk about it, but I need to say, forgive us. We were wrong." He raised his hand as she opened her mouth to protest. "I always thought I knew what was best for you. I had the right to decide your lives." His voice failed. "But I was mistaken. You built everything alone. And it did better than we've ever dreamed." The mother cried in silence next door. "We are so proud of you, Sonechka." The tears ran down under control. "And so much pain for losing 5 years of your life. Your marriage. The birth of Lena." Sophia felt her throat close. This was in the past. His voice came out softer than he intended. "The important thing is that we are together now." The father hesitated, then asked, as if he feared the answer, "What about Moscow's apartment? Do you sell?" She tensioned, but he rushed to add, "That's not why, I swear. Just curiosity." Sophia relaxed her shoulders and smiled. "No. I rent. The money goes to Lena's education fund." She observed their reaction. "When it grows, you can study wherever you want." The father shook his head between admiration and something that seemed ashamed. "Always thinking ahead. This you took me. And the chess classes, remember?" He laughed, a hoarse, almost forgotten sound. "How could I forget?" They talked late, the past and the present intertwining without weight. When the parents finally retired to the guest room, Sophia went out to the porch, seeking the fresh air of the night. Her husband found her shortly after, wrapping her shoulders with her arms. "All good?" "Yes." She nestled against him, watching the stars. "You know, I realized one thing." "What?" "They didn't change." Sophia laughed softly. "They follow the same, with their shortcomings, their weaknesses, their stubbornness." She turned her face to face him. "But I changed. I'm not afraid to disappoint them anymore. I don't need their approval. I don't depend more on what they think." A sigh. "And that's why I can forgive them." Her husband kissed her on the temple. "They love you." "I know." Sophia closed her eyes, hearing the wind in the trees. "And me too. But now." She smiled. "Now, it's in my terms. They thought they would take my apartment, but in the end I got something much bigger, freedom. Freedom of their expectations, the suffocating obligation, the guilt that accompanied me as a shadow. Her husband kissed her again on the temple, as if she silent that truth. They missed ugly, didn't they? Sophia laughed, remembering the words she had released 5 years earlier, full of bitterness and determination. They were wrong, but even that's why I'm grateful. Because it was the push I needed. On the garden, the stars shone in silence. In the distance, the bark of a neighboring dog cut the night, while indoors the young daughter slept quietly. Life followed, stubborn and generous, and despite everything, or perhaps just for everything, there was more light than darkness. More peace than noise. More reasons to smile than to cry. And Sophia, for the first time in a long time, believed it.